Welcome back to the BoyoZ podcast. This is going to be episode 4, and today we actually have two guests on the podcast today, which is going to be great. So I'm actually going to introduce one since I've been friends with him for years, and then Robot, you can introduce your friend as well since you've known him way longer, since I just met him as well. So this is my boy Fredrickson the 34th.
What's going on? Yeah, my name is Fredward, 34th. Not really, but we'll go with it.
Yeah, we just call him Fred. And then Robot, you can introduce your boy.
And then my friend here that I've brought on is a Bigfoot connoisseur, 4-time nominee for Bigfoot of the Year, by the way. Mr. Tate Heironymus.
I don't know about 4-time nominee, but it's a little generous.
He holds the WWE belt for Bigfoot hunting. He's being very, very humble about it.
I don't know about that.
So I guess we can pretty much be kind of out with it. So today's episode is going to be different from gaming or Twitch or any kind of like social media stuff. We're going more into, or a deeper dive into conspiracies, Bigfoot hunting, anything of that kind of area. Because this is what these guys specialize on. I'm gonna be like that guy from the Pawn Stars. Like, let me call my friend that's an expert in this kind of thing. So that's what we kind of do right now. So I don't know if you guys want to give a little bit of background about yourselves before we get into the questions. Tate, you can go first.
Sure, background about me. I don't know. I'm into the whole Bigfoot thing. I'm a researcher in that field, so kind of grew up in that. Found it weird but interesting, and I like kind of weird, interesting things, and so I just gravitated towards that, and that's kind of what I do, on a daily basis, if I can. Daily basis, I wish, but I lied. It's not a daily basis. It's whenever I can. But that's a little bit about me, really.
Awesome. And then Fred, I know I've known you for years, but let the audience know some background about yourself.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just go by Fred. I don't know if you want me to say my real name or anything.
Nah. Just things that you've done or like looked up, researched, because I can kind of say some about you. One thing that made me laugh, at least, I don't know if you want me to actually say it.
You can say it. I don't really care, to be honest.
I've known Fred since the Modern Warfare 3 days, which was probably back in 2013. So I've known him for a couple of years. But I know that was around the time where he started looking into conspiracies. And he didn't just look into conspiracies. He looked into conspiracies to the point where he started scaring himself and he didn't want to go outside anymore. That's how deep he got into conspiracies. I would still listen to him, so I've been listening to him talk about conspiracies for that long. So that at least gives you a small background about how much this man loves to look up conspiracies. So.
Yeah, it was even before then. I used to look into them, every now and then you'd go onto YouTube and you'd watch one video, and it'd take you to others.
Yeah, you go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I would do that every now and then, and I wouldn't go too deep, right? But then they got to a certain point where I was working at this one place, and out of all people, my manager, he was like, "Hey, bro, you heard about this?" And I was like, "No, what is it?" And it was, I'm trying to remember which conspiracy it was. I think it was the space one. He was talking about the moon landing and it being fake and all this stuff. And me personally, I used to love space. Space is something I was in love with. And when he showed me that, it started raising questions. And ever since then, just conspiracy after conspiracy. I was looking into it. A lot of stuff started connecting. I started scaring myself, like you said earlier.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's where it started.
Yeah, and but yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm just a regular person, I guess. I don't do much. I mean, I go to work, come back, hang out with people.
Play some video games.
The conspiracy world is mostly where I live at. The whole political aspect of it. I try not to get too political with it, but it's kind of hard not to get involved with that world since a lot of it has to do with...
They do intertwine a lot, so...
Yeah, they intertwine a lot, yeah. But I'm also big into the cryptid aspect. I wasn't a big believer of Bigfoot. I thought it was like a dumb subject.
Oh, that's what the cryptid aspect is?
Judas.
Yeah, I used to think it was like dumb, right? But then after talking to Robot and going on a trip with Robot, I'm dude, I believe something's out there now. Like he's completely changed my view on it. Like even before then, I would think like there would have to be something out there. Like everybody that sees something, like everybody has to. How would you explain it? Like nobody.
Like the whole reason why Bigfoot hunting is a thing. And I'm sorry to cut you off, Tate. You were
Oh
gonna
no,
say
you're fine.
something?
No, I just called him Judas for saying that.
Oh no, yeah, you could go ahead and call me that. Yeah, I used to be like that, but nah, man, I converted. I'm a full blown believer now that there's something out there.
Okay, so
Third eye
actually,
is
I
open.
yeah. Go ahead, Robot.
His third eye is opened.
Yeah.
Yeah, the robot opened my third eye.
Okay.
You could say.
So this can actually be kind of a goal for this podcast. So, out of the four of us here in this call, I think I'm still the most neutral when it comes to it. I'm not necessarily a full-on believer, but I don't disbelieve that there's nothing out there, right? Or if there's something is actually out there. So I'm still in a neutral zone. But that would actually be kind of a fun goal to kind of push me over to one or other side, which I mean, the three of you guys should probably be pushing me to become a more full-on believer. I have nothing against it. I just, I've said it before that I want to go camping, so this is a good excuse for me to go camping with everybody. But I do enjoy the history, the exploring, and the adventure aspect of Bigfoot hunting. But I've only been on like 2 trips though.
It's definitely it's definitely enjoyable. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Even if nothing happens, you're just having a good time.
Heck yeah. So, go ahead, Robot. You have any questions?
You're talking about the two sides thing. And
yes.
that's a good segue into a question I wanted to ask you guys. So to get like a good basis on where your beliefs are here, I wanted to ask you, both of you, the question for when it comes to Bigfoot. The first thing that pops into your mind, do you think that Bigfoot is just like Sasquatch being a mammal, just just an animal, kind of like any other ape out there, a whole species? Or are you on the side that believes that there could be some paranormal aspect to it, the woo side of things?
Yeah. Oh, all right. Let's go ahead and let Tate go for this one, because Frederickson the 34th was able to speak for like a good solid 3 minutes. So let's let Tate go on this one.
No, I think Bigfoot, Sasquatch is a biological animal. Just from the experiences I've had personally, I haven't really had anything weird happen. I think anything weird that happens while you're looking for Bigfoot is its own thing. I don't think they're connected in any way. I just think that people kind of think it is, but it's not. Because if it was like more paranormal in that aspect, I think more weird things would have happened. And why I've been looking for this creature, researching the subject, but that just hasn't been the case for me. I know a lot of people who are into Bigfoot, but they're also into like ghosts and aliens and stuff like that. So I think that's just my opinion. I'm kind of set in my way on that. They just don't seem to be. They're very intelligent creatures, but I don't think they can shapeshift or walk through portals and stuff like that. That's a little out there in my mind.
They're intelligent, but not to the point where they're considered like, I don't know if astronomical would be the word, but like hyper intelligent, I guess.
I would say dolphin smart with ape, kind of like a mixture between dolphin and apes.
Okay. That's a good way, because I think just recently, I don't know how recent this was, I think they said dolphins were like just underneath the intelligence of humans. So the bars are pretty close.
Dolphins are like really intelligent.
Yeah. All right, now Fred, what is your opinion on what you think Bigfoot is?
I'm on the opposite spectrum, to be honest. I feel like I don't feel it's paranormal. I feel Bigfoot's more. I mean, I haven't had any. Like, I haven't gone out to look for him. I've only done it once with Robot, and it was cool. It was a fun experience. We saw a couple things that were questionable, but from everything I've looked into ever since after that, a lot of people, I believe that it could be a physical creature, biological, like primate, but I'm more into the whole aspect of it being a spiritual type creature. I guess paranormal in a sense, because I've been listening to a bunch of people talk about it in both ways, and I lean more towards it's kind of I believe more well, I wouldn't say I believe it, but I'm more leaning towards where it's connected to UFOs and all that the portal stuff. I don't know. To me, I feel like it's more of a spiritual creature, but the biological thing makes perfect sense to me as well.
The more paranormal, less sci-fi.
In a sense, yeah. I feel like it could be either or, but I lean a little bit towards more the spiritual aspect because of all the stuff I've looked into. I mean, I would like to go out and experience more things to see if it changes my mind or not.
Yeah,
But
I think
as
you're
of right now, I feel, yeah, more spiritual aspect of it.
I think you're the only person. I'm sorry. He's the only person that I've ever heard that says that they want to actually get like punched by Bigfoot. I haven't heard anybody else say that to me. But go ahead, Tate. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. I think like I don't know. I could be wrong. I feel like if it was more paranormal, you would have more stuff happening. Like I feel like people that have ghost problems get that stuff happening like all the time. You know, like they can. It just happens more frequently. But when you talk to a lot of researchers who actually go out in the field, you know what they'll tell you is nothing happens. Like 9 times out of 10, nothing happens, and it's actually a really bummer because you're trying to go about it as looking for an animal. You have this hunting aspect with not trying to kill it, but like how a hunter would go out and look for deer. It's kind of
tracking.
It's kind of that same way. You're tracking this animal, trying to get it to come to you because animals are smarter in their environment. There's no way we're going to out-track them or out-trick them. Generally, you can sometimes, once in a while, but for the most part, you're helplessly, you just can't survive in that world that they live in. An animal in general. So you're talking about an animal as smart as like a Bigfoot or Sasquatch, which is the same thing. That you're going to be, it's not going to work well for you.
And also, comparing tracking a deer to trying to track Sasquatch it's definitely going to be way different.
Oh, it's way different. I mean, there's similarities in the fact that you got to be patient because it's a patience game. You just can't go out in the forest when you're wanting to hunt and be like, "There's a deer, let's kill it." I mean, yeah,
no running gun in here.
Obviously, it happens more often because there's deer everywhere, but still.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and especially like when you're looking, a lot of people have this idea where they're like, oh, if Bigfoot's really just this species that's everywhere, then I should just be able to see one as I'm going on my camping trip in my trailer in this camping area. Like a lot of people don't realize that lots of times we're going like really, really deep into the forest because that's where they like to be. They like to be where no one is, and it's really hard to get out there a lot of times. Like this one trip we went on with a couple of a Tate. What were they? They were like mushroom pickers or something like that.
Was it with Bobo and Ron when we went down? Like they found a nest or something.
Yeah, and then we were like going down this extremely steep hill. Like it was actually really dangerous. One slip and we probably could have died or something. But it was great, bro. We were going down there. We were sweating on the way back up, and just that. Like one hike, it wasn't even that far of a distance. It was just the sheer steepness of the hill. And to think that for us, it took us like 3 hours to get down there and come back up. And then for like a Sasquatch, it would probably...
Oh, dude, no.
He's using his toes to get up, man.
I think Robot is completely underestimating. Or, I don't think you're embellishing enough. It needs to be embellished. That hill was ridiculously steep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, I'm surprised that Bobo was able to go down and the way he is, but
are we talking steep to the point where like if you slip, like you're rolling all the way down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah, no mistakes.
It was pretty bad. Like you rolled an ankle, it was not gonna be fun to drag you out of there.
Dang. Okay.
It was serious.
Yeah, you gotta be committed if you want to actually find something that hasn't been discovered before. It's
true, but Kip and I actually went back up to the trucks, and Kip is a retired firefighter, and he was like looking at a map in case he had to call on a life flight or something crazy, and so he was getting all that prepared in case something happened that was really bad. So that's when it got real, man.
We should
For real.
also probably mention that these people that are getting mentioned, they're also Bigfoot hunters, or they do something out in the wild as well. They're not just random people. They actually go out there to do research or
No, dude,
hunting
these are
and things like
totally
that. Yeah.
hobos.
They're hobos?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say. They're looking for their job. They're bounty hunting Bigfoot. I didn't know that would be a thing.
Absolutely. Well, that was a show.
Bounty
it
hunting
really?
Bigfoot?
Oh, $10 million
what was it?
Bigfoot bounty.
Yeah, $10 million Bigfoot
Oh.
bounty. And one of our friends also worked on that too.
Dang.
I
I would
was
have
just
known. I would have
crazy.
joined it.
I was just with Stacy Brown from the show in January. Spent a week with him. I was with this group called Small Town Monsters. Stevie knows who they are, but we were working with them. I was helping some friends doing some filming for this series called Beyond the Trail for the Small Town Monsters YouTube channel. So that was pretty cool. Got to
Heck yeah. Shout out to them.
do a whole Florida thing. So yeah, I'll leave it at that.
That is pretty freaking awesome. Actually, this is a great segue to one of the questions that I have. This one doesn't necessarily go much for Fred, is more so for Tate. What are some of your experiences while hunting Bigfoot?
So this is the thing, like I was talking about, like I don't think they're Bigfoots are paranormal in any way. I think it's just you happen to be in the same place when these things happen, and people will, make the connection. Oh, they're connected. But I did see an orb up in, I can't remember where it was at, but it was in northern Florida with Stacy in an area. But that same night, I heard some of the clearest knocks I've ever heard in my life, like wood knocks. One to our left, and like a minute later, one to our right. And I was like, it was, me and two other people heard it, and we stopped and like, did you hear that? And we're like, yeah.
And it was so distinct that you knew that it wasn't an echo, right?
It was not an echo. No, it sounded like a wooden bat hitting dead center on the perfect tree to make the perfect knock sound. Like it was so perfect. It was weird. And there was two of them, but the times were spaced out enough, it wasn't an echo. And they were coming from different directions of the road. One was on the other side of the road, and one was on the other side. So that's happened to me. I was able to actually film one in Southern California in 2016.
Let's go.
And I made like a documentary about it, kind of touched on it. And then my buddy that was with me too, his name was Jonathan Easley, Western Bigfoot Exploration. He's releasing a documentary that's coming out, I think, this week or something. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah,
Is
let's
that on
go.
YouTube as well?
Yes, sir.
Heck yeah.
He kind of talks about that, and it's funny because I've taken a few people up to that site, and Stevie, you've been there. People who have like seen that site were like, "Dude, this is way out there," and that's what this guy was coming out there. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go out there and be like, this was probably a person or something." But when you see the terrain and what it looks like, he was like, "Dude, I don't know. I'm starting to believe you saw a Bigfoot and filmed one." So, that was probably the best evidence I've ever gotten in the field personally, for since looking for Sasquatch and researching the subject. But I've heard knocks and recorded that too, but the thermal video was probably the best one that I've ever gotten.
Ooh, we should probably explain the knocks to someone who could be listening to this and doesn't know about the knocking.
Stevie, go for it.
Yeah, so so there's like some normal Sasquatch behaviors that a lot of investigators look for when they're tripping around in the dark. One of them is knocking sound. They believe that Sasquatch, I think it's like the most common belief of it is that it's like a way for them to communicate with other Sasquatch without needing to make like vocalizations or anything like that. They can like do certain amounts of knocks or even knocks at different volumes, and that's like their own little way of communicating somehow. So that's one of them. The other one is a sound like a whoop, like a whooping sound.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that's one sound that they say that they make a lot, and then the other one's just like just full on. You hear just roars in the middle of the night from far away. It's some monster type stuff. And then I think those are like the most common ones, right?
Yeah, those are pretty common. Rock throwing can be another thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Stevie was
That
up,
one, yeah.
yeah, that
Go
was
ahead.
Stevie was up there a couple days after when my buddies from Small Town Monsters Beyond the Trail series, Alex and Eli, we were the first ones in there into Louse Camp down in Bluff Creek, and we're driving into this road. And I have my truck. It has decent tires, but my buddies were in what was it? Toyota Corolla, and it was not great for the roads out there.
He went out there in a Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god! And we're talking off-roading, right?
Yeah, I
No
mean, it's,
He was
Man,
drifting in it.
it's
My lord!
yeah, it's a dirt road, but people get flat tires out there all the time.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah, I got a flat
But the
tire.
thing
out there.
was, it was weird because we're getting out we're getting out of the cars to move these rocks so he doesn't like get a flat. And we're so the way the road is, so you're going down the road to the camp. Off to your right, literally, there's a rock slide, and up above that, it was an old logging road or an old road.
Mhm.
And then below us is the creek. So we're taking rocks, throwing them down the creek, just getting them out of the way. As we're doing that, my buddy Alex is like, "Hey, do you guys hear that?" And we're like, "We didn't hear anything because our cars were actually running the whole time." So we're tossing the rocks down. Our Eli tosses one more rock down, and then all of a sudden, these rocks start coming down at us. And Alex
From
is like,
above?
yeah, from that old road up there.
Yeah.
And so Alex goes one way, and me and Eli take cover behind my car. And as we're looking up on the ridge after the rocks kind of, came down and the dust settled, we're looking on that ridge up above to see if we can find anything. And down the creek, we hear something walking away.
Whoa.
That was trippy because, Alex doesn't really want to say for sure what it was, but I'm pretty sure he knows in his mind. But it just felt too coordinated is what we thought, And the crazy thing was we went up there during the day the next morning and we kind of replicated that rock slide, and we had a pile of rocks to do it. That's crazy. And the other thing too, it's a great vantage point because you can see anybody coming in at night, especially with the headlights on. You can see everything from over there. So I think we were terrorizing something down the bottom. Something up top wanted to distract us, so whatever was down at the creek can get away. And it worked.
Oh, that is such a mind game.
No, it really was. And that was just one of many things that happened that trip.
Hey, Fred, would you want something like that to happen to you where you're just kind of sitting there confused and you have to decide what to think and what you think is real?
Man, I just want something to happen. Next time I go, I want to get pelted with rocks. I don't know, dude. I want to see something. I want something physical. Even if I get hurt, at least I know that it's real. You know what I mean? If it kidnaps me, if I die, like I don't know, me personally, like it's just for me, my own personal. Like I just want to know personally,
That's
like I don't.
That's so funny. A lot of people say, "Man, I want this and that," but when you're in the moment, you don't want that.
Yeah.
That's probably true. I'm over here saying stuff like that.
Yeah, I promise you, dude, that happened to me because like when I got that thermal video, I was like, we had camp set up and we were all fine. And the buddy who was with me is actually a skeptic. He doesn't believe in it. And if you ask him today, he's like, I can't tell you what I saw.
Yeah.
But I don't, it's like, I don't know what I saw, but I can't tell you what I saw either. He can't explain it. And
yeah, Robot showed me the video, and that thing was crazy.
In disbelief.
And the thing was, like, we had camp set up, and we actually changed our camp spot somewhere else. So, like, you feel fine, but then you have these regrets, like, why did I do this? And, like, if you listen to Cliff and Bobo's podcast, they'll, like, say, people will say this stuff all the time and then go do something the opposite when you're in the moment, because it's a whole another thing. You can say it, but when it happens, that's a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm over here saying stuff like this, but I do want something to happen. Like, even if it scares me and I never go back into the woods, at least I'll know, like, for a fact.
He has closure is what he wants. He wants
the
closure.
scariest thing would be, like, you're camping in your tent in the middle of nowhere, and something tall pushes on the top of your tent downwards, and it's a hand. It's like in the shape of a hand.
Man.
How would you like that?
I don't know if I would be
we
able to go back after that.
we almost had something that we know for sure it wasn't, a Bigfoot or a Squatch or anything, because when the three of us had actually gone camping together, when we woke up in the morning, we heard something that was just circling our tent, and we were outside in the tent. Our bags were on the cottages, and we were on like a slight hill, so it was flat enough to where we were able to sleep, but it was just close enough to the edge to where, like, if I rolled off, I probably would have gone down and took everyone with me. So. And I remember I woke up, and what did your mom put? I think it was like blackout, not curtains, but like, what was it?
Yeah, it was just like a tent cover. It was called blackout technology, and it was supposed to keep the sun away or whatever.
It worked. It worked perfect because there was a lot of shade inside the tent. But in doing so, we didn't see what was outside, but I heard something that kind of was like sniffing by my head, and I was like, oh, I really don't want whatever it was to poke inside.
No.
But after a couple of minutes, there was nothing else around, and I was like, do I want to go outside? Like, do I want to see if it's Squatch, or do I want to see a bear in my face or something?
That sounds like a bear.
Yeah, so that's my first thought. Because I was like, okay, it's sniffing around, so it's thinking that there's something here. We didn't have any food in the tent, which is nice, because we know better. But, so that was somewhat the closest. I think Fred might have been asleep for that. I don't remember.
No, I was awake for that, because I remember it was sniffing behind. Like, I was in the middle between you and Robot. It was by our heads. And I remember I heard something sniffing, and I was like, in my eyes, I was like looking up, because it sounded like it was right behind me.
Oh, actually, I remember now, because you whispered, "Did you hear that?"
Yeah. But now that you mentioned that, if I was scared of that, I don't know if I really want to see something now.
Bro, I think I was out.
It was very early in the morning.
Yeah, I was done for.
I don't know how Robot slept, because his sleeping bag was broken, so he couldn't even zip it up.
Yeah, he probably wasn't asleep. He was crystallized at that point. Then
I just a little burrito in it.
Are you guys all going to Bluff Creek with Stevie this summer?
Is that the event in July?
Yeah.
So Fred might.
I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would. I might be able to do like a weekend or so, but since I'm starting school next month, it's like Monday through Friday, so I might be able to go like Friday to Sunday. But I'm gonna see if I'm able to go. I'm not 100% on it just yet, because it's full-time school, unfortunately. Unfortunately, but yeah.
Fortunately,
yeah. No, it's good to go to school. It's but then I just don't get to do cool stuff.
No, right. No one needs school. You just need to.
No one needs school.
Yeah.
Go out camping, and that's real school.
Full-time Bigfoot hunter, gets sponsors. My car is whipped out with Bigfoot hunting stuff. That's the dream.
Sponsored by Dr. Squatch.
Imagine.
Yes. I would love to get sponsored by them.
Oh, that would be awesome. I mentioned that I would love to be sponsored by them, just so that Robot can have free soap.
Do you think they believe in Bigfoot, or do you think they just use him as a branding like tactic?
I think it's a branding.
Probably a branding kind of thing.
Same thing with the meat steak people. They use Squatch on the thing.
Oh, they never really bring up Squatch in any of their advertisements, as far as I've seen, besides like the packaging.
I mean, I'm sure there's some people who work for them who kind of think it's real, but who knows?
Yeah. The one question I did have that I want to ask Tate, that I asked Robot last time, was for the event. I was asking Robot, that event type stuff, you know how a lot of people go, right?
Or like
to go look for
conferences and stuff, or like, well, are you talking about like camping trips, like expeditions?
Yeah, so like that whole event that's coming up, like a bunch of people go, right, to go look for him?
Yeah.
The question I was asking Robot is, does that like make your chances go down by any chance to see anything?
Like, or having do you think, more people?
Like, yeah, having more people go look for him,
not,
in a sense.
I mean, no? I would say a little in a way, but the cool thing is, like, I think the more interesting you can be, the better, and with more people, it's going to be interesting.
Yes.
And when we usually go out, squatching, we usually are in a group of, I don't know, like, what do you say, Stevie? Like a couple car groups, and then we split up into that and go different ways. So
like
I
groups
mean,
of 4 and 3.
Yeah, groups of 4 and 3. We'll have 3 or 2 groups of that, and then we'll split up, even though there's a lot of people in camp. And then we go to different areas too, so it's not like.
Okay.
In the places we go around our camp is within 15 minutes of each other, give or take. So it's not like it's directly in camp. So we're hoping to like get something, outside of camp, and maybe it'll follow us back and mess with us at night. So
that would be the dream.
Yeah, and the place, the perfect place, the perfect thing about this place, it's so dark at night. It's pitch black. So anything could sneak around. And the other thing it's got going for it is the creek is right there. So that masks the sound too. So
and
not only are people snoring and sleeping, you got the creek right there and it's pitch black. So
probably to mention too, when everyone goes on their expedition, it's not one giant group going all in the same area. I think that's what he said earlier. It's like, smaller groups of people in different areas. Yeah.
You don't have like 10 people in the same area.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like, man, it's just like a group of 60 people walking around?
Oh my god, through the forest?
Yeah.
Bro, oh my god, that dude, I was I think the second expedition I was ever on, that was like it was for a certain little club that I shouldn't name, but we were all going. And that's the kind of like thing that people are doing for some reason. Like they're thinking, okay, let's go up to the top of this hill, and then we'll have some people do calls or something up there, and then we'll have people go down. I'm like, okay, but then the thing is, there's 30 of us, so they had like 20 people went to the top of the hill. There didn't need to be that many people going up there.
No.
And then the rest of them went down to like listen and be quiet. And then when you have that many people there, you can't be quiet, and everyone's talking, and they're like, "Oh, are you okay? Are you tripping?" Or be careful, bro. And then they're all flashing their flashlights around. It's like that kind of stuff.
You become a beacon.
I hate.
No, it's true, and you kind of get irritated at that many people. You're like, I'm just gonna go off over here alone. Bye.
What was okay? So I remember Robot when I went over, and then we were watching Bigfoot Hunters, the show. Who was it that would say, we're gonna go this way, and he just bolts off by himself? There was I think they called him like the mountain goat or something like that, the one who can easily go up and down steep hills, and like through the brushes of all the greenery. Someone just would always go away from the group until it was very quiet, very dark, and I can't remember the name.
I know what you're talking about, bro. So you're referring to Finding Bigfoot, that show, and you're thinking of Cliff, which is also a good buddy of ours. I love that guy. He's got the same mentality when it comes to big groups, where he absolutely hates that stuff, because he's also the kind of guy who doesn't like having lights on unless absolutely like necessary. And then he has like a group of 15 people following him. At that point, you're not even squatching anymore. You're just there because he's a TV personality.
Yeah, that's really annoying.
Okay, yeah, so that's pretty much what I kind of pictured when mentioning that. That's not what to do. Like, do what Cliff does. Don't do what everybody else is doing. Stay in giant groups, because then your chances are actually slimmer. It's not
a school field trip, guys. It's it's looking for Bigfoot.
Fred, we don't need your mom's permission slip for this.
Think of looking for Bigfoot as not going on a school field trip, but getting disowned by the public in general. You're an outcast, and you have to be by yourself. Maybe one friend feels sorry for you, and you're kind of with them. That's what Bigfooting's like, and there's little pockets of groups that you're with.
That was Red, dude. That was Red.
There we go. I am that friend. Like, hey man, I'm just here for the camping experience.
You're here for the emotional support.
If something happens, I'll be a believer. But until then,
beer helps the courage too when you go out in the middle of the night.
Oh my god, I don't know if I want to drink beer if I'm doing night hikes.
It's not bad actually. I've done it before.
Robot made us do it.
That was.
Steve tested me drinking a lot out there in the field.
Oh yeah,
This
says it all.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I mean, like this is one. This can kind of go into, or actually, Robot, do you have another question before I ask a second question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you and Fred. I mean, it kind of ties into what we were talking about, but like the first time you guys went out with me, our first camping trip, all three of us, and then I had you guys. I was like, all right, guys, let's go on a night walk. What was your guys' thoughts? I want to know like what you guys were thinking during that
I'll
moment.
let Fred go first.
Oh, I was gonna talk about that earlier. I was gonna say, yeah, the first time I didn't expect it. Like whenever you told me that you go out looking for him, like I thought you went out during the day, kind of like, hey, walk
Yeah.
around. And then I didn't also expect you to take me to the middle of nowhere. I thought we were going to some campsite, you know what I mean? But yeah, so the whole taking me like out to like where we could have died and nobody would have known where we were at, that was like crazy to me. I was like, I don't know about this anymore when I was heading up there. But it was, I would do it again. It was cool. But yeah, the night thing, whenever it was like almost 2 o'clock in the morning, you're like, all right, bro, get ready. No lights. The no lights is what got me. I was like, you really want to walk around here with no lights on? That's what got me. But other than that, it was interesting. It was cool. I would do it again. And the other thing that was crazy was when your mom told us that, hey, if make sure you have your backpack ready so you can put it over your neck because mountain lions like to jump on you and they like to bite your neck. And I was like, oh. I was like, all right, that's
the vitals, man.
yeah, I was like, that's some good information to know. But yeah, it was, I mean, I thought, honestly, I wasn't as scared as I thought it would be. It was actually really cool walking around at night and hearing stuff just walk around and breaking things.
It's somewhat
Yeah.
calming somehow.
Yeah.
It's
But
one of those
other than
things.
that,
Oh no, you go first. Go first.
I was just gonna finish up. I was gonna say, other than
Yeah.
that, it was a really interesting experience. I would do it again, but yeah, the first time when you told us you were walking around at 2 o'clock in the morning with no lights on, at first I was like, I don't know about that one, like.
Hey man,
But
is this
other
guy
than that,
gonna
it was
end me
cool.
right here, right now?
Yeah.
We're out in the woods.
I'm
Yeah, I
glad you
was
guys
like-
trusted me.
Yeah, it
You're
was
the
funny. I
only
mean,
one
we
who
were
had
all
the
like in a
Glock.
single line.
All right,
But other than that,
I
yeah.
guess I can give my side. So the first thing that went through my mind was like, oh man, now I can't trip on anything because then everyone's gonna laugh at me. I was lifting my feet, man. I didn't want to trip on a branch or anything. But no, it was the same thing. I was scared, I was nervous, but I was also excited at the same time because it wouldn't be the first time I would go on a night hike, but it would be one of the first times to go on a night hike more out in the middle of nowhere where we're like what 5 miles away to the closest city. Oh, actually, no, I think we were like 9 miles into the forest or something like that. But it was one of those, I definitely would do it again, but I would want to be more prepared because I think the biggest thing that we had on ourselves protection wise was like our camping knives, bear spray, and I think you were packing some heat, Robot, but that was kind of it. Yeah. I would at least want to be a little bit more prepared to kind of calm my nerves when it comes to that kind of stuff. That's
Okay.
pretty much my experience, at least for the first night hike.
Did you want to say your question you had it before then?
I forgot which one I was actually going to ask. To.
Okay.
I do have this one that I'm kind of curious about. This goes for both Robot and Tate. Some myths about Sasquatch that you can at least confirm yourselves to be fake.
Well, I'll let Tate go first because I gotta think real quick.
Myths or evidence?
Myths first. So when the general public thinks about Sasquatch, what are some things that you want to kind of point out is already fake or just not real or exaggerated too much or something like that?
Oh, that they kill people. I think that's a big myth. People think
So
they're
they're not as aggressive as people make them out to be.
Yeah, exactly. This gets into. I want to get into. If you guys are down, I'll get into something else that kind of goes along with that later.
Yeah, I'm down. We got time.
But I think, I mean, they're aggressive to an extent, but they're not out to like kill you by any means. So I'll take my chances with Bigfoot versus a bear mountain lion.
All right, sorry, Fred. You're not going to be able to, unless you aggro a Bigfoot, you're not going to get punched in the face by one.
Man, if he throws a rock at me, I'm okay. I just want something to happen.
I hope it'd be more of a pebble because I don't want you getting hit in the back of the head and then I gotta drag you back to
Oh.
camp.
No, just leave him.
Just use me as bait.
Yeah. Like, this is what he would have wanted. Hey, what if? All right, this is a hypothetical. What if he did get hit by a Squatch in the back of the head, and we all kind of left him there? We didn't really leave him, but we kind of hid behind some bushes, some trees, and see if they, a
They start
Sasquatch would be
eating
nice
you?
enough to.
Well,
No,
Or
not
pushes
eating
past
you.
out.
Well, what I
No,
would,
but like going up to him to see if Fred was okay or something.
well, like you said, I would watch from a distance as it happened.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And I would kind of be giving him like a fist bump, like, one for the team, right? And then after the ordeal happened, I'd make sure he's okay, and then be like, dude, you just took one out for the team.
A little head trauma never hurt anybody, Fred. You'll
Oh,
take one
bro.
for the team.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm glad I could
science.
assist.
In the name of science.
It's not science if you don't write anything down, so at that point, it's just for fun. For
Yeah.
entertainment.
Unless we document it, then it.
Oh,
like,
if we film
video
it, then
recording, yeah.
if we film it, that's golden.
Heck yeah. All right,
That's
Fred,
golden.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Steve,
Hey, I'm down,
I want to
I'm
hear
down.
Stevie's. I want to hear Stevie's myth and like what's fake and not.
Can I just say one thing before he said? I don't know. I just imagine Fred laying down in the middle of a dirt path, just like, I'm hurt. Squatch, help me. Just see if it's trying to work.
Hey, whatever gets him to come towards me.
Yeah. All right.
Help me.
Yeah. All right, Robot, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I mean, he got the biggest one. That was like the first thing that popped into my head was the thing that they're like extremely aggressive, and like that's the thing that all the movies point out. That anything made about Bigfoot, they're all like, unless we're talking about Harry and the Hendersons, he was great. But
Yeah.
everyone else, bro, they think they're gonna absolutely clap you when you're out there, but you're fine. You're fine
Like clap your
most of the
cheeks.
time, anyways.
Hey, whatever gets Fred evidence, he'll take one for the team.
I don't know if I would go that far.
Come on, Fred, take it for the team. It's for science.
Science.
You'll
Hey,
get-
I'll just be watching.
You'll get the DNA you don't want to get.
Oh God.
Be like,
Oh,
Fred,
no.
leave it. That's evidence.
That's it. Just start collecting it.
Oh, God.
Hey, it won't get contaminated that way.
Oh, my lord.
Oh no.
Shit.
That went downhill fast.
That is our type of humor. But oh, were you going to say anything more?
What was I gonna say? My man's flabbergasted. Oh yeah,
I threw you off.
The other thing was probably the biggest thing that like everyone thinks of if you like do a normal person when you say Bigfoot to them, they automatically think that Bigfoot is just one thing.
Yeah.
It's just one guy. It's just one hairy Bigfoot in the middle of the forest when the reality is we're looking for like a whole species. Like we think it's a whole species of ape. So that's probably one of the biggest ones. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
did you find him? I'm like, probably not the Bigfoot, but I'm still looking.
I may not have found the father, but I got close to his kids. So, but it was one of the. Actually, that's a good way to kind of. It's not a segue, but a thought that just came into mind because this is one of the reasons why I'm still in the neutral area because there's so much things that we don't know on land. The same as there's so many things that we don't know that's in our oceans, right? So it's just undiscovered territory. Because everyone's, at least kind of general like blanket statement, everyone's like, we've been through this entire like land that we're on. Like that's not true. There's so many cave systems, there's so many mountains, there's so many forests, like that you can only venture out for so long, for so far until you have to head back and kind of, prepare for the next one or something. You were going to say something, Tate?
No, that's a good point. And if you watch like a lot of Survivor Man, I think it was on a Survivor Man Bigfoot episode he did. He's like, you're looking for something in valleys of tens of thousands of valleys that look just the same all over North America and Canada.
Yep.
And it's something that's more rare than your average animal, but it wants to stay hidden, right? Now compare that to people who go hiking in the woods and get lost and want to be found.
Yeah, there's already people who get lost and they're not found for maybe until they become a corpse. I don't know. It's an unfortunate side.
And they're trying to be found. That's the thing.
Yes,
and you can't find them. And sometimes they never find people. So when I say, like, when you say, oh, why can't you find bones? You know, where are they? Well, where are those lost human beings that you can't find?
Or the remains of that human being.
Or the remains of that human being. So,
also, one of the things too, I think this is more animal kingdom wise because there's so many. Even our pets do it. Dogs, cats. If they get to a point where they know they're towards the very tail end of their life, they don't necessarily go to people. They kind of stay away from people even more. Like they hide away somewhere and just kind of pass on their own.
Pretty much.
So it becomes even harder to find something, whatever can be out there. But that's one of the reasons why I still kind of stay in the neutral area, is because I don't have, at least myself, to see the evidence, but I can't disbelieve it because, you know, things like that. It's not going to be something easy to find.
No.
Otherwise, it would have already been found.
That's true.
And Robot, did you have another question by chance?
Let me see here.
Did you ask the last one, or did I ask the last one?
Do you guys have a Rolodex of questions?
No, we just write things down.
Sometimes I just wrote something down as we were talking.
Like, yeah. All right, go for it. You go for it.
So you were talking a little bit, you know, like earlier when you were talking about being scared and stuff like that. And I know that Tate, not being scared, but like I know you have, you know, like pretty bad anxiety that can really get to you sometimes. And I was wondering if you would like to, you don't have to, but I was wondering if you'd like to talk a little bit more about that, to maybe give any tips to anyone who also would like to do what we do and go out there but doesn't want to take that step, or might start freaking out once they're, you know, actually there.
Yeah, you kind of took my question, actually.
No.
My question was if you could give some advice to a novice or new hunter, what would it be? So it's practically the same thing. Yeah,
I would say, like, yeah, I'm pretty timid in the dark. I mean, who isn't until you get like really used to it. My biggest thing is just kind of get used to the area during the day if you go to a place, you know, and go with other people. Because going alone, if you don't like the dark, then forget it. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But go with other people and just kind of get used to it. Your surroundings, know what's around you. Because when nighttime comes, it's going to look a lot different. But at least you know what's around you during the night. You know where things are at. And as far as being comfortable, you know, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. It's just how it is. It's just, the more you practice guitar, the better you get at guitar. You know, you're not going to be good the first time around. So that's like my best advice.
Also, for the love of God, please nobody go off on their own. If you're not experienced already, do not go off on your own.
Yeah, especially
for some reason you decide
unarmed.
to go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Have some sort of protection for yourself, because you don't. You might be searching for Bigfoot, but something else can be hunting you down without you even knowing. So, yeah, just stay safe out there, please.
For anybody who does go alone, I usually stay right by the car. I don't walk off anywhere. You
also
fall
invite us to this.
You fall and trip your ankle and you're out alone somewhere and you can't get anywhere. That's different. That turns from looking to Bigfoot for trying to stay alive until somebody can get to you.
Mm-hmm.
This is not Survivor Man.
Yeah, that was such a good show too.
I don't mean to. Les
Stroud. I don't mean to kind of go away from Bigfoot hunting, but didn't he stop filming because he was getting not too old, but he got tired of like constantly having to set up camera, do whatever he was filming, go back down and all that?
He's still filming.
Oh, is he? Oh,
he's got a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go. Oh, so he's just not doing Survivor Man anymore.
No, he is.
The reason
he is? I'm missing out.
Yeah, he stopped. The reason he stopped at first is because I was listening to the interview he did where he was explaining it, and he said it has to do with whoever runs the network at the time. They decide what show is like, okay, well, people like this show. And the person who was at the top of him at the time was like, yeah, we love Survivor Man. But once he got replaced, the person was like,
Yeah.
"Nah, I don't think this show is good anymore." So they
And then,
removed
he,
him.
Okay.
and then he started like STM or Spider-Man TV, like on a network, and then I kind of think that kind of didn't work, so he's just moved everything to YouTube and stuff like
My
that.
man.
So yeah, he's
That's
still.
a smart move.
Oh yeah, I think it is. It's awesome. So
Yeah,
good.
I
would
didn't know that
love-
he did the Bigfoot stuff.
Oh yeah, so he did a whole season of
Yeah.
Survivorman Bigfoot, and then he did a new one, not a brand new one within the year, but a few years ago at least. I want to say definitely before the pandemic, he did one. So that was probably the most recent Survivorman Bigfoot he did. It was an Oregon episode.
Heck yeah! Shout out to that boy.
It all comes
Yeah.
full circle. We get back to Bigfoot any way possible.
Oh, I have more television stuff to talk to you guys about, but
Ooh, okay,
in order to
okay.
do that, I need a beer real quickly.
I need a
Okay.
hero.
I'm gonna go grab one from the fridge.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Hey, let's ask Fred something then.
Hey, what's up?
Perfect.
I'll answer your question real
Fred.
quick.
Yeah, you ask away.
You know what? I already did. So it's your turn. It's your turn.
Hey Fred, did you ever play that Bigfoot video game?
Which one?
Bigfoot?
Oh, you mean hunting Bigfoot?
Yeah, that one. What
I
other
think it's got-
Bigfoot hunting game is
Nah,
there?
I never ended up playing it. I never ended up
Dang.
playing it.
Dang, we bought it though, right? Like
I think we bought it, but I never. Yeah, it was on sale, but then I never ended up playing it.
What? I gotta check.
Hey.
I gotta check right now to see if I have it. I don't remember
Heck yeah,
buying
bro.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Hey,
Nah,
hey,
yeah.
hey,
I have a
let's find out we
question for
both
you
have it.
guys, though. I have a question for Tate and Robot, though.
You can ask
shoot.
Robot, and we can get Tate when he gets back.
All right, Robot, what do you think about the Todd Standing videos?
The Todd
What,
Standing.
What is that? Since even if I don't know, there's probably people out there that don't know.
The Todd Standing videos, the guy who says that he has the best Bigfoot proof. He has these video recordings, right?
Oh.
And when you watch them, I'm not gonna lie, they look legit, right? Like they look really good.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason I found out about him is through the Survivor Man, through Les Stroud, because he saw these videos and he went to him and he was like, he was questioning the videos whether, because apparently Todd Standing in the Bigfoot community, he's like frowned upon because everybody
Ah.
thinks that he faked the videos, but people can't prove that he faked them. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the way they look at it is if his videos are real, then they beat the Patterson Gimlin video, because then these Todd Standing videos would be the best proof of Bigfoot existing.
Yeah. So I think I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about the ones like where he's like zooming in on their faces and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
yeah,
Like he's in the
uh-huh.
ghillie suit.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that one, that's definitely one that's when you bring it up, a lot of people just kind of scoff at it because it's one of those things where like it's I mean it's obviously it's one of those too good to be true
Yeah.
type of deals.
Yeah, I wanted
But-
to get y'all's take on him because I didn't know about him until I listened to the interview with Survivor Man, and I looked into him because he says that he believes him, but to a certain point. But I watched the videos myself, and if they're real, then
Oh,
man,
they're
that is some
beautiful.
crazy stuff. Yeah. But the thing is that there's like holes in his story, but his story also makes sense too. So when I looked him up, like 90% to like 80% of the Bigfoot community kind of don't like him, but then there's also a bunch of people that do like kind of take his side.
Who is this?
Todd Standing.
Ah, welcome back.
Oh yeah, I wanted to get your take too on what do you think about the Todd Standing videos?
They're fake.
Oh, okay.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, I was asking because I just recently ran into him not too long ago, and I saw how people were like in the community were broken up on like on his videos.
Dude, yeah, they're fake. They're fake. And you know what's funny is I actually am a fan of Todd Standing. So, I mean,
Okay, so you don't have a biased opinion on this then. That's good to know.
well, here's the thing. I know enough to know that he's hoaxing. Okay?
Oh, okay.
What I like about him is, you know, he does get out there. He does know his stuff. But just by me saying that I like that about him doesn't mean I'm lending credibility or adding credibility to, you know, the legitimacy of his findings that he presents. Those are all fake. Other than that, I don't know. I don't really say much about him. That's about all I think of Todd Standing.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because I saw a lot of people had mixed feelings about him.
No, yeah, he's fake. Don't.
That's right.
Man, I was really hoping those videos were real too.
Nope.
Hey, Robot, you didn't give your opinion on it yet.
Yeah, I was getting to the part where like I was kind of hoping that they were real because they look so good, but then also like in that same documentary or whatever, he has this like one part where he's talking to this dude, this witness that apparently he had, but then the witness's story keeps like changing every once in a while, and like you can notice it, like really well, and it's just like it's surrounded by like it's good footage if it wasn't surrounded by a bunch of other things that kind of disprove everything else in the same exact documentary. So
and not
like
only that,
I don't know.
Not only that, but he has 2 videos of like a Bigfoot looking at him. Where it just shows the head, and it's practically the same angle in both videos. And one of the videos, the eyes are not blinking at all, and then the other one, the eyes are blinking like all the time.
Dang, he's got to work on his animatronics.
Yeah, that's the thing. So they're fake. He just wants to get money and be on TV.
He got the guy that worked at Chuck E. Cheese to make an animatronic for him. They just didn't pay him enough.
And that's the thing too about his research spot. It was actually stolen from a researcher.
Oh damn.
Oh
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, then I can see why people are don't necessarily have the most trust in him. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Speaking of trust, I just want to hear your reaction and see what you guys think of Expedition Bigfoot.
Expedition
I don't know
Bigfoot.
if they've seen it. Have you seen that? It's on Discovery Plus.
I haven't.
on Discovery
I've
Channel,
heard
too.
about it, but I haven't seen it yet. I've heard people hyping it up.
Yeah, it's not. Don't watch it.
No, it's not good.
Don't waste your money, Fred. We're saving money here.
It's fake.
Damn.
That's what I think. It's like so. I love those guys that are in it. Well, some of them. I like 2 of them.
Who?
Well, I don't want to step on any toes,
No, you're not.
Just in case they hear this. Yeah.
Stevie, just tell me, and I'm gonna ruin your world.
Okay, so I mean, first off, Russ is a cool guy and all, but his character that he puts on for that show, like in the show he's like portrayed as the super army guy they drop behind enemy lines. He knows everything about camping. He can take on 2 bears with his thumb. It's that kind of stuff.
Okay, I'm looking at a picture and you're describing him perfectly, and I don't even know who it is, but I'm pretty sure based off this one picture, he's the one I'm looking at.
What's his name again?
Russell Accord.
Yeah, Russell Accord.
And do you like Bryce or Ronnie after him?
Mm-hmm. Him, and then the lady, I forgot her name, but
the
lady with the orangutans. Yeah, her. Yeah, she hears everything. Like every second of the show, she hears something.
See, okay,
I'm like, oh, bro.
Okay, you know what? I know Russell personally.
Yeah.
And I've asked him to do another interview with Bob Gimlin. And this was a few weeks ago. And he's like, oh, Bob, his wife doesn't want him doing any more interviews and stuff like that. And plus, I think a year or so before that, there was he made a post that Bob wasn't going to any more conferences. You know what I see?
What?
You know what I see on a conference lineup? That Bob was a special guest. I'm like, okay, so you tell me he's not doing this and then he goes and does it?
Oh my God, bro. It's the money.
Yeah, but he's like a liar. Yeah. He's conned everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to a few people, and the only reason he's relevant is because he's Bob's manager. That's it. That's the only way he got on TV. That's it.
That's what got him in there.
And me and some other researchers believe they stole one of my ideas for the television show.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So I found this out. Because I mentioned earlier Small Town Monsters. they're a pretty big YouTube channel. I think they have like 70,000 subscribers on YouTube.
I will
But
check right now.
they get a lot of views. And the episodes, the guys I had told you about, Alex and Eli, they do the series Beyond the Trail for Small Town Monsters. And if you look it up, it's Beyond the Trail, Bigfoot Mountain is the episode. We tried something that I just came up with the idea on the fly. I was like, guys, let's take these pheromone chips we've been using in Bluff Creek, tie it under the drone, and have the fan from the drone waft that nasty, pungent smell down as we fly over a larger area above the trees to hopefully get it to stick on the trees, and we can cover a lot more ground that way. And that was July, I want to say 15th. But Expedition Bigfoot posted that they're officially filming on July 14th. Well, the post is made on that day that they're officially filming. So we tried that pheromone chip idea with the drone like the next day. And it wasn't until August 3rd or 2nd, I can't remember. We were talking on my buddy's, the same guy who does the show, Alex Petikoff, on his YouTube interview channel, Sasquatch Out of the Shadows, and we talked about the things we were doing in Bluff Creek and Oregon, and we actually mentioned what we did with the pheromone chip. And it's never been done, and everybody I've talked to is like, dude, I've never seen that ever been done before with a drone and pheromone chip. And here's the thing. I know Russell Accord, and he knows who I am. The other guy, Ronnie, is friends with Alex, and he's actually been on Alex's YouTube show before, so he knows about him. And since Expedition Bigfoot and Small Town Monsters are competing in ratings, I would not be surprised if they stole, an idea from us. And the other thing too is I found out from people, somebody that worked on Finding Bigfoot, I'm not going to say, a couple people, they said, yeah, we filmed the TV shows out of order. So
Dang.
they could have stolen my idea, because when I saw the trailer for the new season, the first thing I see is a drone with a pheromone spray. And I texted everybody, I was like, dude, do you see that? They stole my idea. They totally ripped us off.
That's crazy, bro.
So talk about a conspiracy.
Dang.
I'm
That's
telling you,
insane.
everything goes full circle. We get back to one thing or another somehow.
So yeah, I believe this television show stole my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you should
They
sue
steal so
him.
many things.
That's the
Hell
thing.
yeah.
I can't sue them.
You can't sue based off on an
Damn.
idea.
No, but
Yeah,
I
you
could
can.
No, you can't.
What?
People do it.
No,
Like what? Give me an example right now.
it's
Well,
not-
I mean, it's not like I guess you really can't sue for an idea, but there are shell companies that sue. So let's say you invent something, right?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
for an invention. They didn't steal the invention. They just stole the
Oh
idea.
no, yeah. Well, I mean, I thought it was a similar thing, but yeah, like let's say you make something, right? And you made it and you built it and you're selling it, right? Well, let's say I'm this company or I'm this dude and I make a fake shell company and I say, hey, dude, you stole my idea, and I sue you for a portion of the earnings that you make. People do that, dude. It's dumb.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, the probably the biggest thing I can probably give it. I'm saying probably way too much. The biggest example I can give right now is the fact that like the music industry, a lot of people are suing other artists, mostly like mainstream pop artists, because they say that, hey, he ripped off my song, or they ripped off my lyrics, or so. Is that what you're trying to get to?
In a sense.
It's
Kind of, I guess.
That's one
it's
thing,
the same
though.
thing.
Well, that's one thing. You're making money off of their thing.
Yeah.
But like these guys did. I mean, the idea. I just had a pheromone chip underneath the drone, but they use like the drone is. That's already made. Like those are made for cropping and stuff. Like that's an actual thing. They just put the pheromone spray in it instead of what's usually used for cropping. The idea, you can't really sue an idea, because ideas you can't really patent that. You have an idea, then you make an invention, you patent the invention. That's
Yeah.
what you can sue over. I mean, it's like, man, I'm feeling like burgers right now. I'm like, dude, I was thinking the same thing. We have a great idea. I'm gonna sue you for that. That was my idea.
That's like Fred made a cheeseburger, I made a bacon cheeseburger. You can't sue me because I put bacon. It's a different thing.
Bro, you just made it better. Is what happened.
This is,
See,
this
that's
is why
exactly
my
that's
bacon burger.
the key
This is my
word.
bacon burger makes it way better. Sorry, Fred.
The TV show with their loads of money took my idea and made it better.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, they use bigger drone.
yeah, still my idea.
Get a crop duster.
Yep.
I 100% believe it was my idea, and they just took it.
That's crazy.
Without crediting me. And the other thing too is, oh my god, this makes my blood boil.
Take a sip of the beer first.
Yeah, hold on.
Gotta get the whole thing out.
Yeah. So that TV show fakes everything. Every 5 minutes they're hearing something. Russell's like, "Oh my god, I think we're being stalked. Do you hear that? It's right there." And then the other people on the show are like, "I can't. Do you hear that? I got my lights going now. It's not working." I'm like, dude, every 5 seconds your light's not working. Every 5 seconds you're hearing something. And that's not just the one episode. It's every episode. They're always hearing something, seeing something. Now, you guys watched Finding Bigfoot, right? With Stevie, I'm sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it with him.
Do you notice how, like, on some episodes they don't hear anything?
Yeah, it became somewhat of an actual just night hike. Like
No, but like
nothing happening.
that show is actually legit because these guys were doing it before the show.
Mm-hmm.
No one's heard of these people on Expedition Bigfoot at all. And first off, Bryce Johnson is an actor, from Willow Creek, Pretty Little Liars, and that. He's not a Bigfooter. He may be enthusiastic about it, but he's not a Bigfooter. And that's
shame from the community.
It's just irritating. And the other thing is too, because this was years before the show, Russell Accord took Bob Gimlin down to the film site, and I found out, and I had some of the guys from the Bluff Creek Project who I work with, they paid for my gas to get back up there to do an interview with Bob. And so I got one of the only interviews of Bob Gimlin in front of like a famous historical landmark that's seen in the original film. And 6 minutes is not public anywhere except for Cliff's Museum. But I found out that they took Bob Gimlin back to the film site for this new season. And they're probably going to interview him at the film site and say, this is the first time he's been interviewed. And you know what?
Damn.
I'm calling BS on that. Because I got the first interview and I have the date and time to prove it.
Let's go,
Is
bro.
that museum? Is that where we went? That same museum?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
That's where you met him. Yeah. That's where you guys made fun of me for not having a job, remember?
That's what,
I don't remember
That's
anything
messed
like that.
But
You have a job.
So
No, I do.
the thing that bothers me is they're going to be in California. So I know they're going to be in Bluff Creek for sure. But are they staying there to do more investigation? And if they do, they're going to hoax everything there. And you know what's going to be great? I like making films, so I'm going to go out there and make another documentary and be like, hey, guess what, guys? I'm in the same area Expedition Bigfoot was in. Guess what? Nothing's happening. Or
something better happens. Something does happen, and you have the documentation, and they don't.
Then I was going to pull up my dick on the counter and be like, hey, guys, check it out. Mine's bigger than yours.
Take that, Paramount. Also, don't
Paramount.
don't mess with us, please. We don't have money.
Yeah, for real. Hey guys, shh.
No. Travel. No, I'm not messing with the travel. I'm not going to say the full name, but it's the other people. They get on my nerves. God.
Yeah, I wanted
Not
to
the
ask Fred real
production.
quick
Mm-hmm.
if Fred wanted to elaborate a little bit more, because he was talking about the PG film, and then Tate just talked about Patterson Gimlin. If Fred wanted to elaborate a little bit more on what that is for people that don't know.
the what?
Get it right,
The
Fred.
Patterson Gimlin film.
Oh, bro, you're the expert. You tell me.
Oh, okay. I mean, you brought it up. Well, anywho, it's one of the most. But it's one of the most like, I guess, popular.
It's the most iconic
videos of Bigfoot. Yeah, the most iconic video of a Sasquatch like ever recorded. And oh man, when was it recorded? What was the date? It was like
October 20th, 1967, in Bluff Creek, California, by Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin.
There you go.
That's the video that everyone should know when they think about Bigfoot. Pretty much the one where it's like he's walking down the creek, he's swinging his arms, and he turns around.
Hey,
they
she.
pause it, and they. Sorry,
Hey, Patty.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
it's the thing you see on like
she's
every
walking
stickers
down.
and stuff. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Oh, that's the video. Most people should know about it. But in case you don't, you'll find it. It's
Here-
easy.
here's
to
a
find
question
it.
for Fred, our conspiracy guy.
Yes, sir.
It's a little trivia. Besides the Zapruder film, what is the most analyzed film footage out there?
Oh man, I wouldn't know how to answer that. I just recently got into the Bigfoot stuff when Robot took me out.
That's a wrong
Okay,
answer
so-
then.
It's the Patterson Gimlin film.
Is the Patterson Gimlin film?
It's the most analyzed film next to the Zapruder film. Zapruder is like number 2.
That's insane. And they
dude,
still
they're
can't prove anything, right? So from what I've
No,
heard, like they
this-
still like they're like on the fence, like it's not real, and people are like it is real, but they have
Yeah.
no solid proof that it's fake.
It's more real. It's more proven real to be faked. You know, it's
Yeah,
there's more proof behind it being legitimate and everything.
mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's the thing about the whole PG film itself. You feel like conspiracy, you should definitely research this because there's a whole lot. You got like the people involved,
Yeah,
and you got like the aftermath, and so like people like Roger Patterson, who was kind of almost a shady character anyway. That's why people, people
Yeah.
like because of that, they're like, oh, he faked it and he hoaxed Bob Gimlin and this and that. Then you got people like Bob Heironymus who comes out and be like, I was in the guy in the suit and Roger paid me, and then you find out Bob's never even been to the site and this and that, and then different timelines of when they left and mailed the film off to Roger's brother. It's like it gets
Yeah.
confusing. It's a whole. The film is one
Right.
thing, but everything after is another.
I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna look into it.
I have a question right now, and this goes for everybody. Do you guys have an extra hour to talk by chance?
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
probably like another 30 minutes or so.
Okay, that's fair enough. Tate, do you have another hour by chance?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and end this episode and just continue the recording. We'll just cut it off to the second episode. So hopefully to everybody who's listening right now, I hope you guys have been enjoying this so far. This is probably the most that we've gotten into conspiracy, specifically Bigfoot hunting. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, and maybe we'll still, hopefully by the time this one's out, we might get everything out onto Spotify and other podcasting platforms. But we actually, Tate, do you have any social media that you want to give out right now if you want people to follow you?
Yeah, just follow my YouTube page, just Tate Heironymus. I'm going to spell that.
Yes.
TateHeironymus. It should be. It's just my name.
That's perfect. Nobody follow Fred on Twitter. You don't want to follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't have any
Don't
social
forget-
medias besides Twitter.
Don't forget to follow us. Mine's going to be Red Eagle Eyes on everything. So YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, whatever. For Robot, it is... yours are always different. So if you want to say yours...
For me, it's Dude Robot everywhere except for Twitter. I have an underscore at the end.
Oh,
Dude
I
Robot
completely
underscore.
forgot one more.
Yes.
Sure.
Bluff Creek Project Podcast. Follow that.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Shout out.
Heck yeah, I was on there too.
Stevie was on
I
there.
got to listen to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully everyone subscribe for the next episode. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
In the next episode, we might talk about aliens, more aliens or something.